Hi, and thank you for joining me. Thank you for your patience while I've been moving. The craft studio is getting sorted. I'm still unpacking, but I couldn't resist on having a little play. So one of the requests that I had was for a flower making video for the pale pink GM sheet. This one's for the lovely Lynn. So let's get started. This has been downloaded, and then all I've done is I've simply printed this onto a beautiful 160 GSM super smooth printing paper. Anything heavier than that, I mean, you'll be fine for a 170, but as you get from 200 up over, just remember it's going to be a little bit more taxing on your hands forming them. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to literally go around the outside and cut these flowers out. They are very forgiving because there's no black line. So what I tend to do is I snip on the inside of the petals, and then you won't have any white space. So don't worry about it too much. If you cut a little bit more off than you should, no one's going to know because there is no outline. So there's one done. And just check I've got my glue gun on ready. I've had a lot of messages lately about these snips. It's just a different way. For me, it's more ergonomic. It's a lot easier on the hands, and it just means I can cut for a lot longer. I have dexterity issues, so using your traditional scissors is quite restrictive for me because it means I can only use those. I can only cut out for a certain amount of time before my hand cramps up. Well, these are so easy to use. What I do is I'm actually turning the flower into the scissors, so I'm actually doing more motion with this hand than I am with this one, and that's literally all you're doing is just applying a little bit of pressure. These are Martha Stewart, but we are memory keepers. There's loads of different brands on the high street, so just have a look. It's the ones that are spring loaded, so you'll have a little spring on the inside, and it just allows you to give a nice clean sharp cut. So what I'm doing is, if you look at the flower, you can see that there's petals, and by cutting into the petals just to the edge of the pollen, it's going to give us a little bit more of a surface area to get the ball tool on, so I can give the flowers a little bit more of a realistic shape and make them more 3D on the projects. There we go. So if I turn it over, you can see the snip marks. And this one is very pale. Normally I do very, very brightly coloured flowers like the bright orange GM or the hot pink dahlias and cosmos flowers, but our lovely Laura requested some paler flowers because she was doing some wedding, there was wedding shower, wedding day cards and some anniversary cards, so she wanted a pale pink. So the good thing about these is, if you wanted to, you could actually apply a little bit more colour towards the outside or inside. You can colour them up, but you can't take colour away. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've snipped into both layers of those, I'm just going to take a ball tool, and on the larger end I'm just applying a little bit of pressure on the tips, and basically what this is doing is it's just breaking the fibre up of the paper, and it's just making the petals roll in on themselves a little bit. And then I'm just gonna gently roll it round towards the centre until I've got a lovely cupped flower shape. Turn it upside down, pop it on your foam mat, and then I'm just going to give it a really good sharp press in the centre. Same with the other one. I'm going to take the ball tool to the edge. Now this one I'm just going to apply a little bit more pressure, and I'm going to go further into the centre. This is going to be the top layer, so I want this to be really quite full. spin this the other way around and give that a really, really sharp press in the centre. Popping a little bit of hot glue. Could use wet glue for this, there is no problem with that at all. It's just I'm a little bit too impatient for wet glue for the flowers, and for the video purposes it just makes everything set a lot quicker. So I've offset this. I haven't done any particular orientation. As long as it sort of lines up on either side and you haven't got any hangover, it's perfectly fine. And there's your little flower. Now it's up to you. There's so many different ways you can decorate the inside. You can use stamens, you can use pollen, flower soft, prills. You could just use stickles if you wanted to. So many different things you can decorate the centres if you wanted to decorate the centres. The nice thing about them being printed is they're so realistic anyway. You could just use glossy accents if you wanted to and highlight the pollen area that's already there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop some prills inside. So I'm going to use some of my mixed media glue. It's just a nice strong wet glue. PVA would work just as fine, or the Cosmic Shimmer glue. So I'm just going to pop some in the centre like that, just not being too specific. See exactly where I've put it if I lift it up to the camera. And then I'm going to take a piece of scrap card and I'm going to use some of these delicate yellowy, goldy coloured prills, and I'm just going to pour them into the centre. I'm just going to wait a few seconds to let them set. And then I'll tip those out and then pour these, like I do with embossing powders or glitters, pop them back into the pot just to make sure that there's no wastage. So thank you so much for staying with me. Thank you for your patience while I've been moving again. Hopefully we're going to be here a while. So please stay tuned because I have lots of videos planned and there's loads going on the Facebook group at the moment. I've got lots of lovely posts coming up, different projects, starting the Christmas crafts, and I'm even starting some spring projects for next year. So please stay tuned. If you're not a member of the Facebook group already, I'll pop everything in the description of the video below. So that should be set now. So I'll just give those a little tap. There we go. And there's the little prills in the centre. So as I say, if you wanted to add peach or pink or any other darker colour, you could easily go around the petals on the outside just to add a little bit more colour, but you can always add, you can't take away. So I wanted to keep these quite pale. So I hope you've liked this little video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, and if there's any of the other flower sheets you would like us to do a video on, please let us know either in the comments below or in the comments over on the Facebook group. Thank you so much for joining me. Good night.